So homosexual couples have a new fad. No, it's not having several hundred or even thousands of anonymous partners and spreading AIDS. No, they've been doing that for ages. It's not using huge piles of illicit, illegal street drugs and then having orgies. It's not lopping their dicks off and claiming to be women, though of course that's as popular as ever. And no, it's not even sucking out of each other's buttholes or smearing feces on their wieners or getting novel parasites from livestock, though they do all of those things regularly as well. No, the new big trend for homosexual men is surrogate babies. So they pay for women to be impregnated with their sperm and to give birth. And then as soon as that baby is born, they rip that baby away from its mother to post photos on Instagram and collect followers and kudos from the fake criminal press and from lukewarm Christians and from tolerant fake conservative in our hijacked government. This isn't out of love. No, it's a stunt. These children are no more than a purse, a fashion accessory, so that gay men can get attention on social media and push the idea that they're normal rather than profoundly troubled, messed up individuals. There's a good Twitter post on all of this that we think is worth reading. It was posted by the user Bo in response to a CBS propaganda video giving a glowing profile to two homosexual male parents. He writes, quote, "Imagine tearing a newborn baby from its mother, who's in another room bleeding as her body and her breasts and her soul aches for the child. Imagine hundreds of thousands of years of instinct running through that child. The only person it knows in the entire world is that woman who grew him. Desperate for her smell, her breath, her heartbeat, her warmth, and her milk. Desperate for the colostrum to feed him for the first time. Imagine causing scientifically proven lifelong neurological damage to a human being by tearing it away from its mother so that you can play house. How wonderful. How stunning and brave to put your feelings before the life of that new child that you claim to care for. How nice you can just buy a child, a human being, immediately after birth. I wonder why we don't take puppies and kittens and piglets and calves immediately away from their mothers." Unquote. So if we're lucky, in the best case scenarios, we'll get kids raised in some bizarre household without any of a mother's affection, where they have two dads that find poop arousing, who probably have a few dozen side partners each, who by the time the child is old enough to know what's going on have probably completely lost interest in parenting because honestly, he's lost his usefulness as a desirable, sexually gratifying, prepubescent, hairless twink. That's probably the best case scenario. But in the worst case scenario, well, we have what happened with these two gay dads in Georgia. You remember that news story. William and Zachary Zolak had two adopted boys. They posted all kinds of social media photos of themselves in their rainbow pride shirts saying, "Love my family." They had homosexual magazines like Out asked to feature them as proof of how normal and happy these families are. But in secret, these two dads were raping both of their boys, making child porn of them, trying to pimp them out to other on the internet. And by the way, they weren't caught because one of these gays reported them. No, because these gays loved the prospect of having sex with underage boys. No, they were only caught because police arrested some other homosexual for downloading child porn and then accidentally found what these men were doing among the evidence. So yeah, that's the worst case scenario. Homosexuals using kids as public props and then trafficking and molesting and raping and killing them in secret. That's not the only horror story that we have, of course. And surrogacy makes it all worse. Here's a story from just the other day, written up by the Daily Mail. Surrogate mother in California, Brittany Pearson, was carrying a baby for two gay men when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So the best path for her was, unfortunately, to induce a premature labor because the child would not be able to survive an aggressive cancer treatment for the mom. But when the dads learned that their child may have been born early, they instead started aggressively pressuring Brittany to abort the baby instead. If we can't rape this baby, we want you to kill him. Because they didn't want to accept the risk that their prop might come out disabled. You can't use a disabled kid for as many Instagram likes. They're not as sexually attractive, I guess, either. They literally began threatening Brittany with lawsuits. And the threats were so bad that she said that her own oncology team then began to back out on giving her cancer treatment. These are sick people in a sick world doing sick things to these kids. And those of us who want to put a stop to it are the ones who get labeled villains. Our own Lauren Witzke knows all about that. She's currently fending off a lawsuit from 2 homosexual men because she said that they were engaged in human trafficking for adopting a surrogate baby. Of course, that claim is 100% literally, indisputably true. If you're getting a surrogate to have a baby on your behalf and paying to take possession of the children, you are trafficking in a human being, period. You are doing transactions in human flesh. If you want to support Lauren's fight against this monstrous lawsuit, you can go to givesendgo.com/defendlauren. Again, that's givesendgo.com/defendlauren. And Lauren Witzke joins us now. Lauren, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Stu. That was quite an intro. You know, people seem to forget what happened to those babies in Georgia. They just want to kind of stuff it and memory hole it. We cannot allow that to happen because it's happening across the country. And you're right. None of the other homosexuals told on the other people. It was an accident that they discovered that those little children were being raped. And it is a current fad right now. This is just a phase. Right now it's, oh, I get Instagram likes and headlines if I go and buy a baby. But what happens to those babies when they become toddlers or when they go to kindergarten and go to school? And then it's not just fun Instagram picture likes. It's, oh, I have to actually raise a child. And, you know, they all struggle with a spirit of perversion. So we can't guarantee the safety of that child because if you struggle with perversion, there's no goalpost on that. There is no limit to how far they will take it. And then you end up in situations like the Georgia couple. But the biggest issue is that Christians who speak out against it or anybody who has a problem with this form of human trafficking, which is a business transaction for profit, buying children and babies. That is what it is. That is the definition of human trafficking. And from people who made the decision that I'm not going to be able to have kids because of the lifestyle that I chose. If you choose homosexuality, you are choosing to not be able to reproduce. And that is what they have to live with. Instead, they found a workaround with that. And right now they're using it to make themselves popular and get clicks on the internet. But we have to think about the future of these babies. And they're coming after me because they actually came for you too, Stu. You heard we had to fight a lawsuit earlier this year because Sheehy, a mayor out in Arizona, was hosting private drag queen story hours or dances for children. And you called him out on it and he sued you for it. So they're coming for us via lawfare to get us to shut up. And he was expecting and hoping that you would shut up and you didn't. And it's looking like you're going to win that one. However, they want to get the headlines like, hey, oh, so-and-so got sued for speaking up against this. So-and-so got sued or is in a lawsuit because they had a problem with homosexual baby harvesting surrogacy, you know, and they think that they can silence us. But it's not going to silence us because we're going to win. And we have to keep speaking out. And you know what? I'd like to make them a counteroffer. If you want to sue us for speaking up against the LGBTQ agenda, we're going to find one brave state legislator in the country, only need one, to send gay marriage back to the Supreme Court. It is time to send gay marriage back to the states, and states should be able to decide who can be married, who can have children, who can rent children, because we've seen what the gay mafia has done when we gave them we just want to get married. That was a lie. Less than 10 years, we're now chemically castrating children. Drag queens are dancing for the children. They're walking around naked in the streets, and now they're harvesting babies from surrogate wombs. How far do you think this has to go before it turns out it's complete destruction? So we as Christians, we as conservatives, and we as Republicans, who, by the way, it is still our party platform to stand with the nuclear family, the traditional nuclear family. That's what the Republican Party was built for. That was what it was designed to do, was protect families. And we as Republicans, we have a right to fight to send gay marriage back to the states. And I think we've reached that point, Stu. I don't think we've hit a point of any kind of return. It's only going to get worse from here.
Yeah. I'm not saying that all homosexuals are pedophiles, but I will say that I believe that all pedophiles are homosexuals. And yeah, although the Supreme Court codified gay marriage, that doesn't mean that a president with real balls couldn't just say, no, it's illegal by executive order. And this is why BBC got so bothered when they asked me, oh, you said that homosexuality should be illegal. Yeah, I did. And you know what the problem is? The problem isn't the lawsuits from Cal Sheehy, which, by the way, are also his pronouns, I think. And, you know, the problem isn't the lawsuits that you're facing. No, the real problem is lukewarm Christians. The real problem is fake cowardly, feckless conservatives who identify as a conservative, but then these blue check marks on Twitter will tell you, oh, really, Stu? Well, Donald Trump loves Rick Grinnell, and he's a homosexual, and he's done great things for the country. I don't care. I don't care what he's done for the country. He's living in sin and he should repent. I'm not judging his soul. I'm not judging his heart. I'm not judging his relationship with Jesus Christ. But Jesus will and God will. And guess what? I do know that God blew up 2 whole cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, over this sodomy crap. I do know that pride is the worst of the 7 deadly sins. And we spend a whole month celebrating that. And so yes, homosexuality should be illegal. These people should not be allowed to be married. The lifestyle should be banned completely, and we should roll that back completely. And nobody should apologize for that. And the problem is these people on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram that get huge amounts of viewership and exposure because the algorithms allow them to, because they're marking themselves as safe from being a homophobe or a bigot by saying, look how beautiful you two perverted, disgusting gay men that are going to rape that child inevitably. Look how beautiful you are as a family. It's a mental illness. It's sick. The insane asylums need to be reopened, not only for these transsexual, transvestite, tranny, deviant, weird, demonic beings, lizard things, but also need to be reopened for the people who actually go on Facebook and other social media outlets to say and go out of their way to tell people how beautiful they are. 2 men who love to suck each other off and put their penises in each other's poopy buttholes. These are the people that they're saying are just great, beautiful families? No, they're not. They're sick, they're degenerate, and they need to be imprisoned because inevitably these homosexuals who are actually buying these children are participating in human trafficking for the purpose of raping those children. They get off on them children. That's why they have, like Cal Sheehy has, these events where they put their penises in front of little children. If little children weren't in attendance, I guarantee they wouldn't even have the events.
Nope. They get off on, it's like a sexual fetish to perform and do all this in front of children. And, we realize that the end goal was always the kids, because what was the first thing they did when they got their rights? It was a beeline straight to the kids. All right, parents, if you don't want to castrate or start transitioning your child, we're going to take your child and traffic them through CPS. It was a beeline straight to the children.
I'll tell you exactly what this is. This is the slippery slope, which we keep using that word, and I know that it sounds cliche, but this is the direct trajectory toward legalizing sex with kids.
Yes.
Making it normal to have sex with children, making pedophiles celebrated rather than imprisoned and executed like they should be. And I'll say it again. I think this needs to be said very clearly. You touch our kids, we'll kill you. If you touch our kids, we will sentence you to death, not a life on death row that the taxpayers get ripped off for and robbed for like every other criminal tax. No, you get marched out of the courtroom and that jury convicts you and finds you guilty and that judge imposes the death penalty and you go out and you hang in front of everyone on the courthouse steps. You touch our kids, we'll kill you, period.
Yeah, one public execution of a pedophile, and I think a lot of our problems would be solved. President Peters, by the way, just a little from one of your constituents here. One public execution, all the pedophiles, they will go back into the closet and where they belong. And I really, truly believe that. And we do need a strong leader. We need a strong leader who is willing to stand up and say the things that we're all believing and what we all think, but we can't say because,
Problem is our political process is fake. But you know what? I will tell you this. If president, I would not only make it legal, but I would make it mandatory for every state to execute these pedophiles. Thank you, Lauren, for being here so much. You can defend Lauren and help defend Lauren against these sick, perverted degenerates by going to givesendgo.com/defendlauren. Again, givesendgo.com/defendlauren. What can you do to protect yourself against the aging process? That's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. If you have a child and that child has a diagnosis of ADHD, you've gone to the doctor and they are suggesting neurotoxins like Adderall and Ritalin and methylphenidate and clonidine because they are whores for big pharma and because they are poison pushers and fake doctors, please try something else before you destroy your kid's life potentially with all of the documented irreversible long-term side effects associated with all of the aforementioned. Please try CBD and please use the family-owned business that we do business with here. All the hemp is grown right here in my home state of Minnesota. Everything can be sourced. You're not going to get any poisons or toxic crap in your CBD like you will if you go to the corner store, which sells all of this BS from China. Go to curable.com. That's Kuribl, curable.com. Family-owned business, all the hemp sourced right here in my home state of Minnesota. So many other benefits to Curable, which you can find on their website. Plus, if you like THC products, they have them as well. Go to curable.com. Use promo code STU for 20% off site-wide when you go to curable.com.
The medical mafia is ripping life-saving medication off the shelves, overwhelming the system.
You will not fill ivermectin for COVID. You can
that's against the law.
No, actually it's not.
While communist doctors are doing everything they can to withhold care from patients in need.
Vaccination, Jim, has been the solution to every major public health issue. But when you have a virus that's circulating in the community and you are not vaccinated, you are part of the problem.
But there's hope. Dr. Stella Emanuel is saving lives with early treatments that are proven to work.
I just want to let everybody know in America, you don't have to get sick. You don't have to wait till you get sick. Everybody needs to have ivermectin hydroxychloroquine in their medicine cabinet.
Dr. Stella is taking patients today. Go to drstellamd.com and use promo code STU to book an appointment and get life-saving meds sent straight to your doorstep. No hassle, no Fauci, only compassion. drstellamd.com. Promo code STU.
Everybody now knows that we live in an upside-down clown world under an empire of lies, a murderous regime. So previously, it may have sounded crazy, but I'm sure you won't be surprised to learn that liberals are very upset that people like me are advertising the Vanish holster. They cannot stand how this holster has helped get more Americans armed than ever before. What's so special about this Vanish holster, you might ask? Well, simple. It is the most comfortable holster ever. The most comfortable holster I've ever worn. I have plenty of experience, 15 years in bounty hunting, lots of experience with holsters and firearms. And when you get a Vanish holster, you'll never stop carrying because you'll forget you're even wearing it. Plus, the Vanish holster saves you money. That's because it fits 99% of all semi-auto handguns. It works without a tactical belt. It lets you carry in multiple positions. It carries 2 fully loaded magazines. And best of all, because you're a viewer of this program, you get it for $50 off. I am told that this discount is set to expire soon, so kick in your special pricing, lock it in right now. Go to vanish.com/stew. That's vnsh.com/stew. vnsh.com/stew. It's all back for the money back guarantee, and I believe them when they say it's the only holster that you'll ever need because it's the last one that you'll ever buy. Vanish.com/stew right now, today, before this discount expires.